Welcome to the Makeover Your Mindset podcast. I'm Cassie McKenzie. Think of me as your BFF for manifestation and high vibe mindset makeovers. It's my personal mission to turn your inspiration into action so you can be, do, and have everything you've ever dreamed of having in life. This podcast will focus a ton on creating fulfilling relationships with money, friends, and soulmates, and inspire you to have fun so you can live the most extraordinary life you've ever imagined. If you're ready to take to the next step, then you've come to the right place. Thanks again for joining me. Now let's begin. Hello. Welcome back for another episode of the Makeover Your Mindset podcast. I am Cassie McKenzie, and I am here with a very special episode for you. Recently, in my Facebook group, the Badass Manifestation Queen, I've hosted a challenge to manifest $3,000 in 30 days. We had over 115 women enroll in this challenge. The results have been nothing short of amazing. I am blown away every day with every success that is reported. And I recorded and actually got the inspired action to record an extra live stream to educate everybody around the 12 universal laws of manifestation. I was looking into them more and more over time and realized that they really play a huge part in our success with manifesting. And it's not just the law of attraction that makes a difference. There's 11 other laws that really, if you're serious about manifesting your best life, being able to be, do, or have anything that you want, it's pretty cool and essential to understand the other 12 laws or 11 laws. Anyway, I wanted to make sure that you had the opportunity to get in on this action too. And I don't normally share everything that's in my private group, but I wanted to share this so you have an idea of what sort of content's in there. If you want to join, you can look up the Badass Manifestation Queen on Facebook. I do free trainings there every Monday so that you can really understand how to improve your money mindset, how to pay off your debt, how to build up your savings at the same time, do really cool things like travel more often, plan more last minute vacays, be able to save for your kids' college, and maintain some maintain some sanity at home amongst all the chaos if you're anything like me and you enjoy adventure and still have a family to take care of, or maybe you're single and you just like adventure. I personally like options on being able to do whatever I want, being able to have whatever I want, and being able to really understand how my thoughts create the things that show up in my life. So here you go. Here's your chance to understand the 12 universal laws of manifesting. And again, come join us in the group. It's awesome. And if I'm going to put the link in the show notes too. Thank you so much. I love each and every one of you. I'm so thankful that you chose to push play today. Please screenshot this episode and put it up on Instagram, tag me, let me know what you think. Let me know how you think this can apply to your own life. I love hearing all y'all's stories and your successes, and I love helping you. That's really what it's all about. So have a great day and enjoy. So today I'm going to quickly cover the other 11 universal laws that govern manifestation. And my goal is that it makes a lot of sense in terms of why things are happening, what you've manifested in the past, and maybe why some things have worked and some things haven't. It's a good thing the law of attraction is not the only one, because things would like instantly manifest. If you're like, I really want to see a gold car, or like, I don't know, I want to have it start raining down like Skittles, then that might actually happen, right? So and also you'd have no idea what you didn't want if you're always getting what you did want. So let's move on. So thank goodness things don't manifest instantly, right? Like we thought they would. And if you start to learn how to manifest through these laws, it'll like really, really start to make sense, and you'll understand them and apply them in a way that with more awareness, so you could be a lot more intentional. So Me personally, so I know I mentioned the law of vibration during the 3K and 30-day challenge. Like that is one that for me, I was like, oh, okay. So when you guys talk about vibration, you're not just talking about something crazy you made up in yoga class, right? So like I was honestly totally skeptical about it. Like I thought it sounded like total BS, but really there's a law behind it. And like for me being like a type A logical driven person, it sounded really wacky to me to be talking about like getting the vibration of the thing that you want. So after today, you will understand and know how to apply that law like I do now. And it'll make more sense and it'll make it seem like, there's a lot more proof behind it, I think. So, let's go ahead and get started. So, the first law, like, to ask you a question, how would you behave if you really knew that you were not separate from life, your friends, your colleagues, and every being that ever existed? And, it's the answer for all of you might be different. It might be like, oh my God, that kind of freaks me out. Like my brother really pisses me off all the time and my mom's crazy. But like, the answer is that we are all one. So the first law that I'm covering today is called the law of divine oneness. And this law states that everything's connected to everything else. So what we think and what we say and what we do and how we believe and behave will have a corresponding effect on others and the universe around us. So if you think about it, like that's why I don't gossip or talk badly about someone or anymore. And then when I do, I'm like, oh shit, why did I do that? Oh gosh, this is all like, they're going to find out somehow, like that's how it all comes around. So the other thing is you'll start noticing that like a lot of these laws really interact with one another and there's a little bit of overlap, but that's for obviously a reason, right? So they work together so well and it'll start to make sense. But so the law of oneness, the way I see it is if everything is, together and nobody's separate from one another, then looking at somebody else's success means that it's possible for me too. And that's why like earlier this week, Pam had said that she was manifesting a trip that for her birthday or not, I don't know if it was her birthday because that was just recently, but in November she wants to go to Greece. And she started seeing all these pictures of people in Santorini and I'm like, well, see, that means it's proof for you too, and so like sometimes you might look at it like, well, oh crap, everybody else gets to do it but me. But no, it's actually the opposite. It's actually proof that it's waiting there for you too and that it's possible for you too. So this law really makes any sort of competition futile because if you're like looking at what somebody else has and you see it like as in, well, she has it and that means I can't have it. Well, that is really like, you're competing against yourself really in that situation. And like anything you say about someone else is something that you are saying about, other people is what you're saying about yourself too. So, similarly, like I have an example here. It said, if you ask someone for help and they give you help, which you don't even acknowledge, and you just kind of go about your merry way, even though you were like, hey, please help me. And they took time out of their day to help you. And you're just like, whatever afterwards. And like, don't be surprised if that it's reflected back to you by somebody ghosting you or like a client disappearing or like someone saying they're going to work with you and then you never hear from them or like a job offer saying it's going to come and then it never does. So like the way you speak of others is how you're speaking of yourself and celebrate others' success and because that's celebrating it for you too one day. And I've really seen this come about. Here's a good example that's not money related. But like when I was single and I was manifesting my husband, I remember sitting at the waterfront, which is a bar in San Diego that's not on the water, funny enough. And we were sitting around and everybody was single at the table and they were all complaining about being single and how there was no good guys in this town. And I was like, or like somebody had just started dating someone else and they were like hating on it, right? Because they were like, looking for her or whatever. Like, you could tell there was like a lot of cattiness there. But I was like, hey, listen, like, I don't think that's crazy. Or like they had to go hang out with married people and they were like kind of wishing that that was them, but like really bitter about it too at the same time. And I was like, why don't you look at it this way? The fact that you are coming in contact with a good relationship around you while you're single is the universe showing you that that's possible for you too, because it's an example of what you want right in front of you, right? It's not the opposite. It's not a competition. It's like, here you go. If this is what you want, like, this is an example of it. It's possible. It's you. This is you. So I hope that makes sense. Drop me some emojis if you think that makes sense, and you can apply this one to you in your life. And the other thing I wanted to say, so I was reading this book, and it's called The Happy Pocket Full of Money, and it starts out with like and the guy who wrote it was actually a contributor on The Secret. And the guy, it starts out with like 4 chapters on quantum physics that like, I remember reading on an airplane and I was like, what? Like, I had to go back and read a few of it like over and over again. But like, it's readable. It's not like crazy out there. But there was a story in there about a scientist doing an experiment that like they found when they separate 2 particles by space and time, they can be still invisibly linked to each other and they act in synchrony. So if they do something to one atom in one area and then hundreds or thousands of miles away, they're doing the same thing to it, or they look at another atom that, has been like separated by it. They start to completely mimic the same exact action. So meaning that like they really have been separated, but they're not separated at all. They're still acting in synchrony. So it's sort of like, because everything's energy, right? So the energy that like a tree has isn't different than the energy that we have, right? So you don't like, it's all the same. You can't like split out, well, that tree, I don't know, like it's lucky, it's got a lot of energy. I don't have any source of that sort of energy, right? And it's kind of like that simplifies it for you. So you can use this in your everyday life. Just remember, we're all one and we are all one with God. It's a law of the divine oneness. And whatever you wish upon others, you're going to wish upon yourself. And, this can help you with like a lifetime of jealousy if that's something that's been bothering you your whole life and you haven't known what to do. Because, whenever you find yourself doubting your greatness, it is like, go back to this one law and look at the people that have what you want and use it as an example of you being able to have it. So the next one is the law of vibration. So this is law number 2. So the one was law of oneness. This is law of vibration. So this was the one that made a lot more sense to me after the years of yoga I went to, and they were talking about get in the vibration of like blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, what? So now I do. So law of vibration says that everything in this universe moves, vibrates, and travels in circular patterns. So that same sort of pattern like gets transposed into our thoughts and our feelings, our desires, all within the same space. So and this goes back to even like scientists will tell you every thought has a frequency, right? So every thought has a vibration. The feelings, the actions we choose to have their own particular rates of vibration. So that's like when someone says I'm high vibe or I'm in a high vibrational state, like happiness or love, those are going to attract more things that are at that same vibrational state too. So it's the law of vibration says like attracts like. You might remember that too from the law of attraction as well. So as you choose good thoughts, more good thoughts are going to be sent back to you, and they'll follow and they'll be in the vibrational harmony. So when you look at like atoms, for example, like us or other solid things like this desk and even this like glass that I have or this pen, even my dog, like everything starts with atoms. And if you look at it under the microscope, you can tell it's all moving. It's all filled with energy. So all of these atoms, if you break it, if you break this thing down to like the smallest part, everything's vibrating, including us. So being everything, like even if it seems solid, it's still a vibrating organism. Funny enough, things that are more dense, like this desk I'm sitting at or the iPhone I'm talking to, they are actually more tightly packed balls of energy, or dense, or wait, what did I say? Where did I put that? So the denser the object, that's right, the higher the speed of vibration. And it's it makes sense to me. The way I think of it is you've got a little chihuahua. It's like this little dense piece of muscle, right? Running around and around. And then you've got my old yellow lab that was big, fat, lazy, and laying on the ground and had no energy to move, right? So one is more dense and the other one's a little bit fluffier, right? So, but they all have the same vibration. And, maybe that's why Maggie always slept every day. I don't know. So, but your conscious mind dwells on certain thoughts of certain, qualities. So I've talked about this, I think it was day 1 or day 2, and it all went back to vibration. So when your conscious mind is thinking of thoughts about the thing you want to manifest, that's why I say get into the position as if you've already had it and it's already been delivered to you. So if it's already been delivered to you, then take a look at how you would feel once you already have it and get in that vibration of those feelings. A lot of times it would feel like say you're looking for a job or a promotion and you don't have one yet. So if you don't have one yet, you're probably in that feeling of oh, I need one. I'm nervous. I don't have a job. I've got all these bills. It's anxiety and worry and all these low vibrations. Think of yourself, on the other hand, as just being offered the job. What does that moment feel like? It's elation. You're so proud of yourself. You're thank goodness, so grateful and just completely ready to celebrate, right? So as hard and counterintuitive as we've always thought that this would go, what you need to do really is take yourself and put yourself into that higher vibe state of I've just gotten it sent to me and here we go. I get to start my new job. I'm so proud. This is so amazing. I can't believe it happened so quickly. All those types of things. And that vibration will attract like vibrations to you. So, and it helps you to just let go of the attachment of, having to have it now, right? And it literally collapses time. So that is really what I want you to think about. Anytime you get nervous, I want you to imagine that I've shown up on your doorstep and I'm handing you the check for $3,000, right? And how would that make you feel? And always go back to that moment and that feeling and really anchor it into yourself so you can go back to that and activate this law of vibration. So that feels a lot better, right? And let's see. So your feelings right now are going to create your vibration. Your feelings are actually your awareness of that vibration. Positive feelings equals positive circumstance. Negative feelings, negative circumstance. So that's the way that'll work. Where do we go? Here we go. Law of attraction. So if you want to do an exercise with the law of vibration, I might go back to that. Some of you might know that I'm a practitioner, an NLP practitioner, so neuro-linguistic programming. I've got access to all sorts of techniques you can use to bust through limiting beliefs in 5 minutes that would normally take months to get through. And I do this with my one-on-one clients, which I almost every single session I do some sort of thing from my NLP practitioner training. And so one thing I want you to do is just sit where you are. And I want you to close your eyes and imagine that I've just handed you that check. So let's go back to that moment where I've just handed you that check for $3,000 and really get into that moment. Feel the feelings of holding that $3,000 and look at the picture in your mind of, looking at the check and you're holding it there, and take that picture and make it bigger and bring it closer to your face. This is all with your eyes closed, by the way. You're imagining this. How does that make you feel? Like, think of the feelings. What would you be saying? Say what you'd be saying to yourself and hear what you'd be hearing around you at that moment, and really feel what you'd feel when I'm handing you this check for $3,000. Like, you can go spend it however you want. And when you have that picture in your mind, make it bigger, make it brighter, bring it closer to your face so you can see it, and then notice, how are you feeling? Like, how does that feel? And really anchor that in, like I said before, and anchor that in so that you are already, sorry about that, got a phone call. So anchor that in so that you are already feeling those feelings of having it. And go back to that moment every single time you start to feel nervous about money. That'll help raise your vibe without me getting a phone call in the middle of it. So, it always happens. And let's go on to the next one. So this one's an easy one. This is our good old buddy, law of attraction. We create the things, the events, and the people that come into our lives. And like attracts like, again, just like law of vibration. Like vibrations attract like vibrations, and our thoughts and our feelings and our words and our action are producing all the results that we're getting because they're literally magnetizing them all back to us. And so they'll attract all those like energies back to us. And when you're vibrating on that high frequency, you're going to attract those events and people, circumstances, the things, the feelings that are all vibrating on that same level too. And, really feel good about what you want to attract, because then you're going to create that alignment to it. And basically the 3 steps for the law of attraction manifestation is 1, set that intention for what you want to happen. 2, is believe it's possible for you. And then 3, feel as though you've already received it. So we kind of did that in the whole law of vibration talk. And as you can see, a lot of these really do start going together and acting like hand in hand. So we couldn't also, like, the major thing that The Secret left out was pointing out the real law of action, and that in order to manifest what you want, you've got to take that inspired action. Like, you're not gonna see the results that you want if you're not listening to your intuition after you set that intention and then taking action that has, it's really giving you that nudge. So in order for it to show up in your physical reality, you've got to take physical action. So you can talk about that house that you want to manifest all you want, but unless you're doing the research and looking around and talking to a realtor and making sure that you're setting money aside and doing all the things that would, help you work up that down payment, then, the house probably isn't just going to, drop in your lap. But, you want to take that law of action to apply in order to manifest the things that are in your head into your reality. So let's see. And one tip that I had was, even just taking a to-do list. I know, I'm a big to-do list person, and I've noticed a big change. Not to say that it works for you. If it makes you nervous and it doesn't make you feel good, then by all means don't do a to-do list. But it makes me feel good because I've noticed that if I write things down, it really sets that intention. And really whatever I want, I'll usually accomplish in half the time that I set out to do it. So for instance, at the beginning of every month, I set a monthly intention list on what I want to accomplish. And then also at the beginning of the year, I'd hit within 3 months everything that I wanted to do in the middle of the year. And I'm like, well, that's nice. Isn't that interesting? So, and it's all because I've written it down. And even a daily to-do list, just even be, whatever makes you feel good and helps you put that one step in front of the other and the other and the other, that is really the key, so that you're taking that action. And even if you're afraid to fail, you can't, then that's just going to hold you back, and it's going to take extra time for you to be able to manifest what you want. And to me, there's no failure, there's only feedback. And that's like one of the success principles, that you either succeed or you get feedback. Because every single step you're taking, even if you make a decision, you're learning that doesn't work out the way that you wanted it to. You're learning more about what you want, and you're learning more about how to replicate it to get it a lot more easier the next time, right? So if you just stick with that and stick with that mindset, it's really going to take you a lot further than, waiting for the perfect time to do something, or being afraid to take action, or being afraid to, take that first step. So now we've done, we've done we did oneness, we've done law of vibration, law of attraction, and law of action. So this is number 5. So the law of correspondence. Let's see. Okay. Law of correspondence says basically that changing something can be as simple as changing your perspective of it. So whatever's going on internally with you is going to manifest and be displayed in your outer world. So to me, this is why the mindset work is so important. I can sit here and tell you tips on how to make money and tips on how to invest it, not in the stock market, that's not my wheelhouse, but I can tell you things that you can do. But if your mindset isn't there around making and keeping money and earning with ease, then you're gonna probably not hold on to it for long, right? So you have to I can't give you all the practical ways to get money or get a raise or negotiate without really stressing the mindset side. And I see it like an 80-20 type thing, right? Where you really need to spend 80% of your time, clearing out the garbage and getting yourself around people who are going to inspire you and increase the quality of your thoughts around money, and increase the quality of the information that's coming in and getting imprinted on your brain. So that otherwise you're gonna be working upstream, in my opinion. So it says if you've heard of the what's it called? The phrase, as above, so below, or as within, so without. That basically means everything that you're seeing on the outside, so your reality is the reflection of what's happening inside. And it's just it's amazing how it's so true. My life totally changed as soon as I changed my mindset about money. And it could have turned out I probably wouldn't be sitting in this house right now. I probably wouldn't be even married right now, much less kids, if I had listened to everything people were telling me that they thought they know, the truth. And it's all garbage. It's garbage, and it's lies we've been telling ourselves for so long, and then we surround ourselves with people who reinforce it and never see another side. And I'm oh, thank God I did, because I love my life now. And do I want more out of life? Yeah, sure, we all do. But that's where you get to your next level, and your next, and your next. So I just want to, see you guys understand that what you see and experience on your outer reality is directly reflecting on what's going on inside you. So make sure you do your daily mind food, right? Listen to podcasts of inspirational people. I have one. I have a bunch of friends that have one. There's Chris Harder's For the Love of Money podcast. There's a so many people out there that are, great experts, and Abraham Hicks. I watch those videos. I'm actually we're going to San Diego next weekend, and I'm Abraham Hicks is there, but it's sold out. So I'll have to manifest a ticket to go there somehow, if it's supposed to be, or else I'll be doing something even better. And anyway, so focus on what's good in your life, and then positive energies to experience a better outer worldly existence. So before I move on, so that was number 5, and I've got 6 more to go. Wait, 7. Some of them are really quick, though, I promise you. I'm going to check and see if we have any questions. Feel free to ask any questions you guys might have. as we go along. And I'll just take a brief break really quick. And let's see. Oh, Cecilia, I was just working on the challenge and received the live notification, all those feedbacks. Wow. Oh, thank you so much. I love you too. You're awesome. I'm so glad that you're able to hop on because she's all the way over in Europe. So I love it. And drop me some hearts if you guys are getting this info and you all really like it. If there's, these are the kind of trainings that you all enjoy doing. It was a mind blown, situation for me too when I first heard it. And then I didn't listen to it for like a year and then listened to it again. I was like, oh my God, even more. Like you pick up more and more every single time. Okay, moving right along. The next one you've probably heard of. So it's the law of cause and effect, also known as karma. So, nothing happens by chance or outside the universal laws, and every action has a reaction or consequence, and like you reap what you sow. So, over time, you will always get what you give, and it's known as karma. So, you get back what you put out into the universe. If you put out positivity, optimism, and altruism, like you do things for people without expecting anything back in return. Like a lot of you guys who are coaches and you're like helping and putting out free content and like putting all your heart into things, working with your clients. Even if you're not seeing anything back right now, like believe me, it is coming and you won't even know how it's going to manifest, but it just will because you're putting so much good energy and so much heart and so much like good-heartedness into the world, into the universe and changing lives for the better. And believe me, it's going to return to you. It's a law. It's a universal law like gravity. So, let's see. Every human thought, word, or deed is a cause that sets off a wave of energy throughout the universe, and that it creates the effect, whether it's desirable or undesirable. So, and that's why, like, when you think good thoughts and say good words about people, and then you feel good emotions and like do nice stuff for people, then it's not only going to make a better life in a world for them, but it's going to create like all good ripple effects across the, universe. So, that's one to definitely keep in mind. Also, the next one is the law of compensation. So this universal law is like the law of karma, but it's if you apply it to like money and gifts and inheritances and friendships and blessings and things like that. So it involves monetary blessings. So give what you want to receive. This is like tithing, I guess, like the basis. If you've heard in that same book, the Happy Pocket Full of Money, I think I might actually have it in here. I don't know. I'll find it for you. It's there's a chapter in there about the 10-10-10 rule, and it's where 10% of your income you want to set aside to go off and donate it to people or charity or whatever the case may be, and that then it's supposed to return to you tenfold. So that's what the giveaway is. So, like give blessings to others. It doesn't even have to, in my opinion, be like money all the time. It could be your time. Just give what you want to get back out of life, and the people will show up and provide it for you. So if you help, there's a quote by Zig Ziglar, you will get all that you want in life if you help enough people to get what they want. All right. That one was pretty easy. So the law of polarity, that's the next one. So this one I've talked about in the challenge already. So the law of polarity is basically like when you get something that you don't want or you don't want to manifest, or you come up against a challenge and it's like an adversity adversity type situation. A lot of times like you have a tendency to like get down on it and like kind of want to give up, but really the law of polarity states that everything has a continuum. So that's where you have the good and the bad, or the hot and the cold, or the bright and the dark, right? And you can concentrate on the opposite of what you don't want in order to get notice and contrast it with what you do want. So Abraham Hicks calls this contrast and asks the question, could it be that things show up that seem like they're contrasting events, like a story about a guy losing a contact lens on a dark airplane, and he ended up sitting next to somebody who invested in the same type of business as he really wanted to start. So the contrasting type of situation showed him what he did want, and by showing what he did want, he was able to be drawn to the people and conversations of working towards his goal. So in that case, not being able to see showed him, hi, I want to see, and got him talking and in a higher vibe. And then he started to talk to this guy, and that let's see. So Napoleon Hill, if you've heard of the book Think and Grow Rich, there is a quote in there that says, every adversity and every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of equivalent or greater benefit. So definitely look at the polar opposite of what's showing up if it's something that you don't like. And that will help you create the clarity and the certainty around what you do want. And then you can adjust it from there. Let's see. So the next one is, so this is a little different. The law of perpetual transmutation of energy. I had not heard of that one before, but this one says that all persons have within them the power to change the conditions of their lives. So things can be created basically out of nothing. And energy is always being transmuted and according to your intention and how you're directing your focus. We all have the power to totally change your life by working with the energy that we're putting out. And high vibration is always going to consume low vibration energy. So this is where you want to make sure to protect your energy if you're going into situations for instance, you're working so hard on your vibe and manifesting the life of your dreams and the money that you want. And all of a sudden, you've got to go to your mother-in-law's house. And you're like, yeah, they just talk about how broke they are all the time and watch the news 24/7. And it just makes me depressed and I don't know what to do. So I've heard this one before. And actually when I go to my parents' house, they watch freaking CNN all the time. And I'm like, oh, how many times can you listen to the same story? It's crap. Anyway, but you want to transform your energy into whatever you want to desire. So being sure to keep working on that and applying those higher vibrations and getting in those higher vibe states is going to help you transmute that energy into things that you want to show up in your life and harness it for the good of your own life. So it also said that people who say I like things just the way they are, but they're just showing that they're kind of ignorant to this law, because you have to see that you're either growing or dying. So there's that natural system of the energy shifting from one side to the other, and it's always changing. And if you're resisting the change, then you're resisting your own growth. So anybody who's resisting change and resisting the growth and wanting to stay still and stuck is going to just stay stuck and will be going against the law, and it'll sort of not pay off in the best circumstances at the end of the day. So be sure to use this law for your benefit, because you can shape it into whatever you want and whatever you desire. The next one is the law of relativity. So this law states that each person will receive a series of, I say problems, but it's mainly for the purpose of strengthening themselves and, it's strengthening themselves. So if you learn to handle issues that pop up with more grace, and you notice that if there's a pattern that needs to be addressed, then it's probably a subconscious issue. But otherwise, it doesn't mean anything. So nothing in life really means anything except for the meaning that we give it. And for example, if like somebody comes to me and they're starting to work with me and they say, I've got this debt, and I mean, that just means I'm so irresponsible because it makes me feel so bad. And I ask them, like, why does it make you feel bad? Well, like, I just made bad decisions. Yeah, I'm irresponsible. I'm never going to be able to have a family one day because how am I going to pay for everything? And I'm like, whoa. Okay, hold on. Let's time out. Let's go back. Like, this doesn't mean anything. Hey, Jamie. This doesn't mean anything about you. It doesn't mean, like, the fact you have debt means absolutely nothing. It means you chose to pay off stuff you bought over time. Like, that's all it means. It doesn't mean anything good or bad. And if you make it a habit to not attach meaning to these situations that otherwise would look like, not so great to the outside world that thinks conventionally and gets conventional results, then you're going to see your life shifting and changing and you deciding to do better things, right? So these problems don't mean anything. It's just giving you feedback as to, with the law of polarity, what exactly you do want. And, you know, it's all in how you're looking at your situation and choosing a different perspective. So, like, if you change the way and the perspective of a situation that you come up against and you're able to see a positive out of it, sort of like, you know, like success is leaving the clues for you, and you either learn from it and you know, rise from it, or stay stuck in it, right? So there's another quote that I just thought of, but it like popped in and out of my brain, but it was along the same lines. I'll think of it and I'll come back and tell you. But everything in this law is just, it also says, and I don't know, it says to, like, when you come up against a problem, then compare your problem to someone else's and put everything into its proper perspective. That no matter how bad we perceive a situation to be, there's always someone who's in a worse position. It's all relative. So any problems that you have, like I said, they don't have any meaning except for the meaning that you choose to give it. So if you're choosing not to give it a meaning, and if, like, for instance, your debt or your current salary or your current job or your current boss has no meaning, or your performance review from some like lady who barely knows you has no meaning, then what possibilities exist beyond that for you? My example, when I worked at J&J for 10 years, and at the end of those 10 years, my first job out in San Diego, I inherited a boss. Actually, I didn't inherit her. Like, she came on and like my life was like pure misery. It was awful. It was not a great situation. That's actually when I started listening to the audiobook of The Secret. And the things that she would tell me about me and my abilities and just the condescension and constant ridicule really got to me. And it hurt me to like my heart. It hurt me like mentally. It broke me down. And it was like a bullying type of behavior that was very hard to pull myself out of. Like, I don't understand how you can expect somebody to succeed in an environment where you're bullying them into submission, right? So this sort of thing was just, it was, if I had known this law back then and I'd have studied these things back then I'd probably look at it in a different way. And I'd probably look at it like, this lady is like, clearly is, off her rocker, and I am still like a very smart person. I'm worthy of a great job. I'm worthy of a great manager, and I'm worthy of respect. And she can basically screw right off, because whatever she says about me only says something about her. It doesn't say anything about me or my abilities. So that would be an example of not giving it any meaning and to choose to look at it in a different way that's more empowering. This also goes back to like any sort of negative self-talk you might have around like limiting beliefs and things about money. choosing to look at it in a different way and choosing to take advantage of like the relativity there is going to notice that if your shift of perception could help you to shift your results that you're going to get to. So like saying, well, it's okay, Ashley, saying like, I don't have any money and so I'm never going to be rich, or I didn't grow up in a rich household so I can't be wealthy either. Well, those kinds of thoughts could be switched to a relative situation where, okay, like, so for instance, Tony Robbins grew up like in a very poor family. They didn't even have like money for Thanksgiving dinner, which is why he has this mission to create the food Feeding America over Thanksgiving. But like his mom, he said, was an alcoholic and he didn't have any money either, but he was able to, totally create this amazing life for himself. And it makes me feel like my problems aren't even that bad right now and I can totally get myself out of them. And I don't know if that makes sense and if that like helps understand how like we can shift a perception and totally shift your whole outcomes in your life. And that's what this is all about. So we have 2 more laws, and these are going to be fairly quick. So the first one is the law of gender. This states that everything has its own masculine and feminine principles and energy, and that those are the basis for creation. So you've got a man and a woman, or you've got chi, like the yin and the yang, right? Not chi, I meant the yin and the yang, sorry. So to live a fulfilling life, have a fulfilling business, have a fulfilling love, you've got to balance those masculine and feminine energies. Now, when it comes to business, this is something that me personally, I could really work on, because I come from a space of I want to do this and I want to do this and I want to do this. I'm very masculine energy, and I have to actively work at the flow and get out of the hustle mode and allow time for the flow to happen. And this is all the time for me. It's something I work with, and recognizing that you can balance the patience, so that would be a feminine flow side, and allowing to receive things that come to you, with the hustle and persistence and the working and the more grinding, which is more masculine energy. You need both of them in order to be balanced, right? So any sort of teetering on the more feminine side versus the more masculine side is going to impact the results that you get. So there's certain ways that you can balance this, like intentionally. For me, somebody who operates from a very masculine energy is, and let me know if you guys are listening and this relates to you for sure. If you can notice this now in yourself, leave me some emojis. But in the comments and stuff, I'd love to hear that, especially on the replay. If you guys are watching this on the replay, I'd really, really love to hear your feedback. But like for me, when I need to balance more feminine energy into my life, I've started in the mornings, I go to the beach and I ground myself I'm gone for 20 minutes because my husband's got to go to work. But I get up, I take my journal, I take my meditation things, I sit on the beach and get centered, start the day, set my intentions, and it's really, really making a very big difference overall. And it helps me to get out of my own head. Also, tomorrow's topic on the challenge is going to be very helpful for creating the flow too. And, you definitely have to balance both of these sides in order to become a true co-creator with God and become a master of these universal laws and this law of gender. So the last one, that is the law of rhythm. And this law basically states that everything vibrates and moves to certain rhythms. So its nature is cyclical, right? You've got your seasons, and you've got the seasons that you would plant your crops, and you've got the seasons that you reap all the benefits from it. It's important to stop trying to force things to all come together, because there's times when you need to rest, and there's times when with the stages of development and those patterns of how the planting the crops and harvesting doesn't happen all on the same day, right? So you like for instance, me personally, again, if it helps to have examples, I notice like I'll become obsessed with a project and I'll want to get it done. So I'll try to stay up till 2 a.m. to get it done. Cause like I know the next day I've got the kids, or like I used to have my corporate day job, and I knew I'd lose focus and forget where I stopped, and probably make a few mistakes here or there, and I just wanted to get it finished. So I would stay up till like 1 or 2 in the morning getting everything done, and that ended up making me so freaking tired like later on in the week that I was like unable to work on anything at all. So really, like, not being hard on myself and allowing myself to rest instead is super helpful. But as a parent, if there's any parents listening to this, it can be very hard to balance like your schedule with your kid's schedule, and especially starting a business, right? So being able to stop and get that rest while working out whatever schedule works for you. Like, people will try to tell you, well, you need to take a day off, or people will say, well, you need to do like not work in between like the cracks of the day. And I'm sorry, but like I'm a huge believer in alignment, and you've got to do what's aligned to you and makes you feel good. And if it makes you feel good to finish those few tasks while your kids are sleeping because you've got time and you're not going to be like dead tired AF later on after they've finally decided to go to bed at night, then you get your work done. So whatever works for you. But as long as you're recognizing that, you take a break when you need to, and what timing works best for you for that, whether it's a whole day out of the week, or if a whole day working out of the week on your, project you want to do makes you feel better, then that is giving you the rest that you need. So let's see. And here's another example. So say you want to get to like top notch, like Boston Marathon type fitness, and you're training and you see yourself getting sick or feel yourself getting sick. Well, following this law of rhythm, you would just take that as a sign that you need to rest, right? That you've hit the wall per se, and continuing to blow through it is going to do more damage than good, right? Because you're not staying in your rhythm, you're not paying attention to the signs. So instead, taking that chance to like rest and rejuvenate allows for your body to repair itself enough that when you come back, you're even more like physically fit and able than you were before. Like, I noticed this when I used to like do yoga, where I would go not yoga, I used to run track, but when I used to like exercise a lot in my younger years, like I would notice like I'd run, and then I'd take like 3 days off, and then I'd expect to go back and be like, so tired, but I was actually better than I was before. So by taking that, rest there, it actually puts you in like a higher state of potential, so you can achieve even more. So that is my recap of the 12 universal laws. And as you can see, there's a lot of overlap there, right? So we don't just have that law of attraction. It's real that we talk about vibration and feelings and getting aligned with your feelings and your vibration so you can attract what is out there for you on the plane that you're putting out, right? So I hope this helps, and I really hope you enjoyed this. You listen to it again to become a master of this. These all are laws that govern manifestation. And like I said earlier, if you can understand them and apply them to your own situations with money, especially since we're talking money mindset with me, just being aware of their impact is going to make an amazing difference in your life, like overall, period, end of story. So remember that next time you go over to your family's house, or next time someone's gossiping around you, or next time you're like feeling down about your money situation, just remember, go back to those feelings you anchored in and start bringing in that higher vibration and stay in that higher vibration state. Thank you all so much, and I will be talking with you soon. Bye. Thank you so much for choosing to push play on another episode of the Makeover Your Mindset podcast. If you absolutely loved today's episode, please take a minute to screenshot the episode, put it on Instagram, tag me, and let me know what's working for you. I absolutely love hearing from each and every one of you, and I love being able to bring this podcast to you on a weekly basis. Also, please take a minute if you're loving the podcast and leave a rating and a review. I absolutely love each and every review that's been put on iTunes. They help us reach more people, help more people find out about the Makeover Your Mindset podcast, and keep the good stuff coming to you. Thanks again so much. I love you all, and I look forward to meeting here again next week.